What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Guys, we got what European things do people in other countries find weird. We finna check this out because the world is different. People, there's things that some people are used to that others are not, and everybody just different in their own way. We all grew up in different places. We all grew up different, but we finna check this out. Y'all hit that subscribe button. Hey, send down more recommendations. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know what y'all find different or find weird about other things that other people do in other countries. It don't have to be in Europe, the European, but it can be America. It can be over there. It can be over here. It can be other places. So y'all let me know. Let's check this
Today we'll
out.
be flipping a recent show called American Things Europeans Find Weird, a clip that didn't sit well with some of our viewers. We should first provide the disclaimer that these kinds of shows focus on either stereotypes or behavior that might be common, but certainly not traits belonging to everyone of a certain country or continent.
Yeah.
Not all Englishmen are habitual tea drinkers, and not all French folks have a penchant for reciting romantic poetry. And no, a good deal of Americans don't take their beloved Smith & Wesson to the shopping mall. We also understand that Europe is a very diverse place with countless cultures, but what we'll attempt to do today is present traits, habits, or actions that happen in Europe and are perhaps common that could be construed as strange to visitors. With that said, welcome to this episode of the Infographics Show, European Things
Infographics
Other
Show.
Countries Find Weird. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button so that you can be part of our notification squad. We'll start with food. Now, depending on where you come from in
Okay.
Europe, eating habits change dramatically. If you visit places such as France, Italy, or Spain, you might find that food is much more than sustenance and meal times are quite a cultivated matter. In Italy, you could expect to take a 2-hour lunch, sometimes with wine, on a workday. Food matters. In France or Spain, dinner
Man, my last job, I had an hour lunch, but sometimes it seemed like that hour wasn't enough, especially if you're going to go out to eat for lunch. You almost in line for like 20 or 30 minutes anyway, just because. But I'll be hungry, so it don't take me long to eat, so I can't complain.
sometimes with wine, on a workday. Food matters. In France or Spain, dinner might last all night, and again, wine is often there at the table.
Wow.
Dinner is often sacrosanct, and it's a time for sharing and talking, and often many courses are served. For most visitors to these countries, if they end up being invited to a family dinner, they will often be pleasantly surprised by the sheer volume of treats and also the wonderful conviviality. You may also find that once you have made the acquaintance of some Europeans, they can be quite tactile and for some people get a little too close. While in some southern European cultures you might find men, just friends, holding hands as they walk down the street, it's not uncommon in Italy, Portugal, France, or Russia for men to cheek kiss as a sign of friendship. You might have to be very close to that person, but once you've established a close bond, this is something you may have to get used to. After visiting France, you could be in England an hour later and try to kiss a man on his cheek there, and he may take offense. One thing people might find peculiar about the English is their orderliness and sometimes utilitarian nature.
Yeah, everybody's different. Hey, you get, especially now with the germs and stuff, hey, you might get dapped up, fist bump type stuff.
In England, compared to the continent, people can be quite serious about things. This could be how much emphasis they put on an orderly cue, or even how much they espouse not
Not a
making a
fly.
fuss. Some people call this the stiff upper lip, meaning someone shows great restraint. You'll find people don't complain much in restaurants, or even are quite nice to someone who they hate, if not pushed to the extreme. But the English are also renowned for their propriety in times of adversity, much the reason why Rudyard Kipling once wrote, "Only mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun." He was referring to English people dressing up in the hot tropics during the time of the Empire. Anything to keep up appearances. We will now move over to the Netherlands, a country that has surprised many visitors time and again. One of the most shocking things to people is Amsterdam, first with its rather open and diverse red light district, but perhaps more so because there are cafes you can go in and choose from quite a lengthy menu of marijuana. In most countries, you might find drugs and prostitution in rundown parts of town, but in Amsterdam these days, it is quite safe and also picturesque. Another thing you might find strange in the Netherlands is the amount of bicycles and how they crazily zip about.
I definitely don't find that strange now that I learned about the
Thing you might find strange in the Netherlands is the amount of bicycles and how they crazily zip about. The Dutch respect their bikes, and drivers must respect them too. In the Netherlands, there's even a special way to open a car door so there is no way you will open it on someone passing by in a bicycle. This involves opening the door with the hand furthest away from the handle. Kudos to the Dutch for coming up with that. Some people call it the Dutch Reach, and it's a lifesaver.
Not the
If you
Dutch
are going
Reach.
to spend a significant amount of time in Europe, you might come across the most passionate and sometimes scariest sports fans you'll ever see. While football hooliganism is sometimes said to be a British thing, most infamous in the 70s and 80s, it is widespread across Europe. People literally die for the game or their team. In Eastern European countries,
And I definitely seen a video about
across
that.
Europe, people literally die for the game or their team. In Eastern European
Different
countries,
atmosphere.
such as Poland, the Czech Republic, Turkey, or Croatia, you'll find supporters with units that look more like special forces. In Italy, Spain, and the UK, supporters at once cry over the beautiful game and then later vent their anger by tearing apart of cities.
Oh.
You will find this in other parts of the world, such as countries in South America, but let's say if your average Canadian got caught up in this, they might find it rather peculiar. If you were to come across some hooligans and made a run for it, you might find that you'd easily get lost. European cities are old and weren't designed using easy-to-navigate systems. You could say many cities in Asia are relatively new cities in terms of them being built up to modern standards, and most American cities were created in a block system. Wandering through alleyways in Rome, following those country roads in the Scottish countryside, or navigating the cobblestone streets of Dubrovnik is one of the highlights of any trip. But before GPS came about, getting lost was assured. Let's say you are lost, and you stop at a local bar for a drink. One of the great things about some places in Europe is the homey feel of some of these old establishments. They might open till very late, or people in some parts of Europe may not even go out until 11 p.m. In more rural communities, you might still find people driving after a few drinks, and in most parts of Europe, you won't be blasted with AC while having to endure sports on 6 TVs. While you'll find American-style sports bars in Europe, one charming thing you'll still find is that the pub, the inn, the cafe will have a homely touch. You'll also
Nice,
find in
nice.
Europe that a lot of young people get away with drinking. The age limit law in many European countries may not so assiduously be enforced by pub owners or police. If you are American, you'll also find that police in most of Europe are not so much in your face as they are in the States. They seem to be a nice
Man, that's true. And I learned that with, I did a video, a guy, he went to the Netherlands, or I think he was already from the Netherlands. He went to Amsterdam, and like, it was like the police in the Netherlands and stuff like that. And they were just chilling, you know, they wasn't, like you said, wasn't in people's face, wasn't, you know, because usually once you see a police, most people be like, oh, dang, let me slow down in the car, or, oh, no, there go the cops type things, at least in the States. But over there, they see the cops, and they just treat them like, hey, buddy, what, you know, regular friends type.
find that police in most of Europe are not so much in your face as they are in the States. They seem to be a nicer breed of cop. If you are young and want to party, head to Europe. Ironically, laws are laxer and there is, for the most part, less crime. You might need a drink to calm your nerves after you've experienced a day of watching nude people at the beach. Certainly in Spain and France, you'll find toplessness to be absolutely nothing out of the ordinary, and we are not talking about nudist beaches. Go there a second time, and you'll just get used to it, and maybe even throw caution to the wind and strip yourself. As most of you are English speakers watching this, or can understand English, we feel we must give you a word of warning if you visit the UK. That warning is, you might not understand people when they speak to you. You think you speak English and know what it sounds like, and then you find yourself asking someone in Liverpool where the Beatles Story Museum is. What you hear back sounds like a foreign language. Down a few pints of Guinness in Dublin and start to chat with a guy with a very broad accent, and you'll be equally confused. The accent can change from town to town, so even if you fully understand the Mancunian, that's someone from Manchester, you might have problems following someone's gist on the wonderful and wild moors of Yorkshire, and you've only driven for 45 minutes. It's actually fascinating to behold. We'll leave you with that, and hope you can see the delights of Europe one day. If you've already visited Europe, let us know in the comments what you found strange. Also, be sure to check.
Yeah, after learning about all these countries and stuff like that, I need to subscribe to that. That was pretty good. After the hearing and watching videos about all these countries, the different things to expect and all that, I don't find it strange anymore. Maybe at the beginning I did before I started doing all these videos. And when I started watching, it was quite strange for me because it's something we wasn't used to, at least some of it. But now it's like, I know, so I'm more aware of it. But yeah, it's just different everywhere, different strokes for different folks. You know what I'm saying? So, but guys, definitely going to check out more from this channel, Infographics. Pretty good information, good, well-detailed video, different. But y'all make sure y'all send out more recommendations. Hey, I got a Google form in my description, so you can put it there. You can put it in the comments. Wherever you want to send that recommendation, y'all hit that subscribe button. That's all I have. Y'all be blessed, be the best, and be you. I'm out.